Hello friends, welcome to another week in our fourth grade classroom. It is the start of the first week of the second grading period. Today is Monday, November 1st, 2021, first day of November, new month. I can't believe we're already here. And just like that, in like 3 weeks is Thanksgiving, and then the holidays will start and everything's gonna feel like a whirlwind. Like it's gonna flash through our minds and our faces and our eyes and all that. But anyway, I wanna give you a rundown of what happened today. So there is no agenda on the board. Today was one of those days that I was not feeling it. The students were not feeling it. It was just one of those days, yesterday was Halloween, and for them it was a long weekend. So yeah, we kind of had a slow start to our day, but I did manage to do an escape room for my reading to review the concepts and the standards because the students are taking a test tomorrow. So I want to give you a glimpse of this escape room, and I'm thinking maybe I should create a tutorial video that goes over my process of thinking for it. So you know what? Hit the like button and leave a comment down below if you are interested in me creating a video showing how I created this escape room step by step, so that maybe it can inspire you to also do one with your students. All right, so let me go ahead and show you. So I put everything in this manila envelope. I didn't put a cover on it. I thought about it, but then I want to reuse them for future escape rooms. But these are basically the sheets, or some of the sheets that go with it. So we're using a passage from our Wonders series, and this was actually a passage that the students had for homework about a week or so ago. And it goes over the elements of drama that we have been going over with, the theme, antonyms. So I really wanted to use it because it had a lot of the standards that the students will be tested on. And then I decided to do 4 different locks, and I'll show you how to do it without having to spend money on special locks. So there are 4 locks. This is the recording sheet. I did escape the monsters because one passage talks about a dragon that people were having issues with, and the second passage talks about a monster in a lake. So I decided to do escape the monsters, and these are the different skills that are being reviewed here. And here's lock 1, lock 2, lock 3, and lock 4. But this is mostly my recording sheet, so I can give students credit for completing this escape room. So these things are inside of this envelope. And in here, I also put some other envelopes, which are right here. Oops. Let's try that again. Which are right here. And this is how I set it up. So let me kind of put them in order. But these are regular envelopes. So I did create little labels for them. So lock 2, 3, and then we have lock 1, and then lock 4. Okay, so I created these envelopes. So here's lock 1, lock 2, lock 3, and lock 4. And in lock 1 was the first activity. So in here, the students had to open this up, and they had these cards. Let me show you. And these are examples from the actual passage of the dragon problem, which is right over here, that are elements of drama. So what the students had to do was look at all these examples of the elements of drama and use their cards to match that element with the example that shows that element. So let me do it really quickly so that you can see it. So over here we have title. So here's the title. And then we have an example of dialogue. Here it is right there. And then we have the scenes. So this place is separated into 2 scenes. And then stage directions, that'll be over here. And the list of characters go there. And then you have the setting. So when they put it in the correct place, they have a code that is revealed, 267. So that is the code that goes here, and they have unlocked the first door, so they can just put all of this away, and then they can move on to the second envelope, which is lock number 2. So I'm going to put this to the side so I can show you. So here's lock number 2. Lock number 2 was just one sheet, and this one went over theme. So the students had to open up the sheet, and basically they're reading to see which clue. So here's clue 1, clue 2, clue 3, and the theme. So basically similar to the graphic organizer that we have been working on the whole entire unit. So here we have the clue, and the students selected the clue and put that letter for that answer here. And then they use these letters to unscramble them to complete this. So why did the dragon finally leave his cave? He didn't want Liang hang over his head. And that's a pun, obviously, for what happened in the story. So once they figure that out, over here, they wrote the letters as they were shown. So they wrote A, D, E, H right over here, and then they unscrambled it here so that they complete it. So that was lock number 2. So let me put it on the side again. Here's lock number 3, which again was one sheet, similar to the one I just showed you. But this one, they were reading different parts of the story, which was our paired text, Pickles, Bill, and the Bear Lake Monster. So I just put different parts of the story, and they had to select a sentence that showed a hyperbole. So every time they read a section of the text, they just filled in the letter in front of the sentence that contained a hyperbole. And once they had all their letters, they used those letters to complete the sentence down here, which they marked in the recording sheet over here as well. That was lock number 3. So once they did that, they unlocked it. They went to the last one, which is lock number 4. This one was a really simple one because I did it based on the dragon problem, and there were not that many antonyms. So we had another skill that we went over in this unit, which was antonyms. So I grabbed 4 main antonyms that were in the dragon problem, and the students had to match the antonyms. So the antonym of impossible is possible. To stay is, the opposite is go. Believe, the opposite is doubt. And then we have dangerous, which the opposite is harmless. And again, they reveal a code that's 581, and that's what will go here. And congratulations, they have escaped the monsters. The students absolutely love this. It was the first escape room we did this year, and they can't wait for us to do another one. I do have a math one that I did with my students like 2 years ago that goes over 2-digit multiplication. I think it'll be a fun one to do sometime this week, maybe for bonus math, so that they have a chance to practice those skills that we learned in chapter 3, since now we're in chapter 4. But along with this escape room, I also created a Google form. I tried to have the students do it, but because my Chromebooks are signed into my classroom Gmail account, and all of them are signed in to the same classroom Gmail account, as they were trying to do the form, it was syncing. So if one student wrote it, another group wrote something, they both showed up in the form. So I'm thinking that for us, because we're a Microsoft district, I will just recreate this in a Microsoft form so that the students are signed in as themselves, and that way there's no issue with them kind of linking to the same account. But this is a really great way that you can also incorporate a digital aspect to the escape room, and I can even make this escape room into a Google form without having to use the sheets at all. I can just go ahead and copy a lot of those activities into Google form so the students can solve it within Google form. But let me show you what I mean. So this is the Google form that I created for the students. It looks like this. This is on my teacher end. So I added a little intro, some pictures that go along with it. And then I have a section where they write the students' names that are in their teams. But again, it didn't work for us. But then we have the next section. So this is another section, and I introduce it. And I say lock 1, 3-digit code, no spaces. So the way that I do this is a short answer. And then I put text, contains, and then I put the actual answer. And if they don't get it wrong, they'll get this. And you can actually change this to whatever. I make it required, but then I go here and I make sure that I put response validation. That means that they cannot move on to the next section until they get the right answer. Once they get the right answer, they go to the next section, and again, they have to enter their answer here. And this one happens to be head, close, but not quite. And again, it validates the response. That's how you make sure that they stay in that section and don't move on unless they get it right. So here's lock number 3 so that they can figure it out. It's 5 letters, no spaces, all lowercase letters. And that one just is the letters as they appear. And here is lock number 4, which is a 3-digit code. And by the way, over here, it's a 5 letters, so contain BFIPT. And that is the answer there. And this is the text contains 581. That was the code. And then that's it. Once they solve it, you did it. You escaped the monsters. Way to go. Showing perseverance and great reading skills. And then I have them rate the activity. A lot of my students gave it 4 to 5, which is great. And again, this is how it looks for the students. So they will have to type something here and go next. So then here is the first one. So it was a 2-8, I think it was 287. No, it was 267. See, it says keep trying because I didn't do it right, 267. And then I can go to the next one. This one happens to be head. And then we go to the next one. This one happens to be B. I'm trying to remember, is it like this? Is it this one? Are you sure? See, I did it incorrectly. I have to remember what it is. 1 second. I got it almost correct. I just did the last 2 letters were in the incorrect place. So I put it in, and then the last code, of course, is 581. And I want you to see the messages appear, and then next, and there it is. You did it. You escaped the monsters. And then there's the rating for it. So that is the little escape room that we did today.
Yeah, and the title.
Wait, 2, 6, 7, 8.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Possible. 581.
As you can see, it was a lot of fun, and there are other activities or puzzles that I can also have the students do, but I wanted to keep it simple for this one, but just to give you some ideas. I got a lot of these ideas when I went to Teach Your Heart Out many years ago from Brittany, Miss Fifth, so I'll link her down below for her Instagram so you can check her out. And yeah, I love making escape rooms and activities that are fun to review different concepts, and the kids absolutely loved it. So then we went on with our day, and the other highlight was that we finished our notes on the regions of the United States because I noticed that we hadn't. And we also reviewed chapter 2 because I noticed that a lot of the students didn't do so well for that chapter, so I wanted to reteach a lot of those skills. And here are the notes for the regions of the United States. So today we did the West, which is 11 states and includes Alaska and Hawaii. So that is what we ended up finishing today in social studies. And yes, today is Monday, and we usually do science on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But because I need to spend more time with social studies, I am kind of flipping it this week. So we're going to focus on social studies Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday this week, and science Thursday and Friday. And that, my friends, is all I have for you for today. I mean, like I said, it was a weird day, but the students had fun, and we got some review done, and tomorrow they take their reading test. So hopefully this escape room kind of helped them review those skills so that they can do well under test tomorrow. So I'll let you know how that goes. I will see you tomorrow because I got to go to Orange Theory and get my workout on. It's another beautiful day in our 4th grade classroom. This morning, as soon as I got here, I went ahead and updated our learning goals and objectives for this week since I hadn't done it yesterday. So these are the ones that are for this week's lesson plans. And after I went ahead and put in all the reading, writing, math, science, and social studies essential questions and learning goals, I went to the front of the board to put up our agenda for today. So yesterday I didn't have a chance to go ahead and do the agenda, but today I made sure I came in early to put the agenda on the board and get ready for our day. I also went to the copy room this morning to make copies of the progress monitoring assessment. Some students are taking it this morning. This morning, I'm going to be visiting my mentee teacher in order to do an observation for her and give her some really useful feedback. So my students will have someone with them during my reading block. So they're only going to be working on their weekly language review that I get from One Stop Teacher Shop, as well as their progress monitoring assessment for the Wonders unit that we just finished. Of course, yesterday during the escape room, they reviewed the skills for that assessment. All right, so I'm going to do some final preparations before I let the students in and get our day started. The day has just ended, and I have to say, we actually ended it with a bang. I'm sure you can hear those noises in the background. We actually did a Gimkit today for social studies to review our geography terms, and you saw that from my agenda this morning. So we actually ended up playing the one that it's like the Among Us version of the game mode in Gimkit, and we didn't have time to finish it, so we'll keep working on it tomorrow. We'll actually just do a new game. And as you can see, the imposters won because we didn't have enough time to vote them off. But now that gives me a chance to edit some of the questions because I put some graphics on there, but the text that I added with the graphic is black and the background was black for the questions, so the students couldn't see the words in order to help them answer those questions. So they were pretty ambiguous. So I want to make sure I fix that, and tomorrow the kids can do that. So let's go ahead and take a look at all the things we accomplished, just the checks because I already showed you the agenda. So look at all the checks. We really were productive today. We didn't get to use that division lesson today, so tomorrow. And we ran out of time with the Gimkit, so we didn't get to our chapter 3 notes. So I'll try to make some time tomorrow to see what we can do with that. And I'm very happy that the students were able to really enjoy that. The other thing I wanted to give you was a highlight from our writing lesson today. I created a new writing sheet to help the students see all the different parts of their essay. So I just created this, so if you're interested in it, leave me a comment down below. I'm thinking of putting it on my Teachers Pay Teachers. So here it is. I printed it on green paper because I like to use different colors. And now my camera is doing something funky and it doesn't look so green. It kind of looks a little blue. But I added the prompt that we're working on for this particular unit. So I have the introduction paragraph here that's made up of the opener plus the topic sentence. Then I have the body paragraph 1 right here and space for them to write it. And that's made up of tree, which I put over here. And it's transition plus reason/idea, because sometimes we are supporting our topic with reasons and sometimes we're supporting it with supporting ideas, evidence, and elaboration. And I added here, add plenty of ease, so plenty of evidence and elaboration to fully explain that. Then on the back, we continue with a body paragraph 2. For now, I'm just having them focus on 2 body paragraphs. And then we have the conclusion made up of restating the topic, the most important fact, and a lasting impression, which makes our reader think, feel, or smile. So really like this. If you're interested, let me know. I'm thinking of putting something together for writing and maybe including this in there. So that is all that I have for you for now. I'll show you more about the Gimkit maybe tomorrow since I need to tweak some things. But Love Gimkit is like Kahoot and quizzes, but a little different because it has its own flair. And unfortunately, they no longer have a free version of it, so you do have to pay. It is a yearly fee that I pay every year. I believe, I forgot what it is. I want to say it's maybe $60 a year. So that is something that I like because it's really highly engaging and it shows the questions. As the students are answering them, even if they get through all the questions keep showing up. So they'll see the same questions multiple times. So it helps with letting them really review those information and understand it a little better, hopefully, right? So that is all I have for you for now. So I will see you tomorrow. Good morning. Yep, I'm wearing my mask. Let me take it off for a second. I'm about to let the kids in. The date has been changed. The agenda is up. And it is a very short agenda today because this morning we're going to start taking the district baseline writing test. And that will take us anywhere from 90 to 120 minutes. I almost want to give the students the full 120 minutes because that's what the time for the real test is, where we take a little break in between. So after 60 minutes of testing, we take a little break, stretch break, and then they continue for another 60 minutes. So I'll play it by ear and see how my students are doing with that as they take the assessment this morning. So in order to do that, I'm not gonna be able to have Spanish today, so we're not going to Spanish today. Therefore, no bonus reading because this has to get done. And then we will have our recess and snack time like usual. And we're actually gonna continue the Gimkit game that we started yesterday. We ran out of time, so we'll do it today. And then I'll continue with my lessons as per usual, according to my lesson plan. So let's let the kids in and get our day started. We've made it to the end of the day, and I want to show you some of the highlights. You obviously saw the agenda already, so I'm not going to go over that again. But this morning, the students ended up taking their baseline writing practice test. Like I mentioned, I made copies of it this morning, and as soon as they came in, I passed out their planning sheets, and I reviewed how to use their planning sheet. I also posted it on the board, and then I reviewed the directions for taking the test. And they took the test in 2 hours. So the first 60 minutes, they were working on a couple of steps that I told them to make sure they focused on during that first hour. And then we took a break, a stretch break, and then we continued for another 60 minutes so they can kind of feel what that 2 hours worth of testing time will feel like. So this was the actual test. So here it is. I created a cover sheet for it. So it looks like this, and the students write their name over here. It has the first source, so source 1 is there. It's about a bike sharing program, and when you see the prompt, you'll see that this is an opinion essay. So here's source 2 and source 3. And this, of course, the district got from one of our curriculum sources. So here's the prompt. I just retyped it to look similar to the FSA prompt, and the students have 3 writing pages to write on. So here they are. And then this is the actual planning sheet that the district gives us. I just printed it on yellow paper so it can look just like the one that the students will take when they take the real test. So I was going over what they can do on the line side of the sheet and what they can do on the back, which is the blank side. And I went over why the sheet will not be scored, because the writing that will be scored will be the writing that they actually write in their booklet in these line pages on the back. So that's the writing that will be scored, but it is important for them to use the sheet, of course, because this is what they're going to use to plan. And these are all the things that I added to the board to make sure I review some important things. So I told them, since this was an opinion prompt, they are going to use a yes or no 2-column notes kind of thing, and they can do source 1, 2, and 3 to gather their evidence, because I also went over how to plan their time. So they start by first reading and analyzing the prompt. We use APT, which Wonders actually switches the P and the A, so it's pat the prompt. So APT or pat the prompt. It's still the same thing, but basically who they're writing to, that's A for audience. P is for purpose, what type of writing. It's either to give my opinion or to inform. T is for task, what is the task or topic. And then they read the sources twice and gather the evidence. So they will gather the evidence like this, or in a similar way. And then for step 4, they plan their writing, which I went over my spaceship. Let me back up a little bit. I call it a spaceship because it kind of looks like a spaceship. So they write their topic. So in this case, it's an opinion. So they'll just write their opinion, followed by their reason 1, 2, and 3 for having that opinion. So they will do that on the blank side of their sheet. And then they will use the rest of the time to write their essay and then revise and edit their essay. I told them steps 1 through 4, you will usually take about the first hour. And the second hour will be this. Most of that time will be dedicated to that. So I went over that, and I also went over tree over here. Don't forget tree for the body paragraphs, transition, reason or idea, evidence, elaboration, and then of course APT, they write it somewhere on their paper. So that is what we ended up doing this morning for a big chunk of our time. After that, as you can imagine, the students were ready for a break. So we had our recess and snack time, followed by our Gimkit, which is our social studies review of the geography terms. I'll show you a preview of that right now. Oh, and by the way, since I already have this up on my computer, what I am doing is I am taking my old bike sharing program slideshow that I used to go step by step once the students take the test. so that they can know all the different ways to go through the process of writing their essays. So I am kind of upgrading it to look like my slides last year. So little by little, I'm going in and I'm adding all the different examples, including how we unwrap the prompt, and it has all the animations in. So little by little, this will be updated so that I can use it with my students. But let's go ahead and go to the Gimkit. So this is my Gimkit dashboard, and this is the geography skills test. So I'm going to click on it so that I can kind of show you a little bit of what it is. So let me preview it here. So if you were to play classic mode of Gimkit, this is how the questions will look. And as you will see, as you answer the questions correctly, you will earn money. So the global grid is used to locate places around the world. So see how they earn money. And if I continue, I can go ahead and keep earning money, and it kind of doubles each time. But if I get it wrong, it goes back down to 1. So we were going over all of these review terms, and they can click on the pictures. They can see that a little better. And let me just go through a couple of these so I can show you. So again, click on the picture. They see that this is an example of a map key. And that came up again. Sometimes that happens. And this is an example of a map scale. Continue. Lines of longitude are also called meridians. I don't know why it's bringing me the same questions over and over in this preview. I promise it doesn't actually happen this way when the students are taking the test. So here's why do map makers use map keys. And I don't know why it's showing it again. All right, so basically you get the idea. The students do that. They can go to the shop and they can get different bonus. They can increase the money per question, their streak bonus, they can get a multiplier, they can get insurance so other people don't mess up their game. They can also get some power-ups where they do minute to win it, the quad grader, the discounter, the streak saver, the mini bonus, etc. And they can also change the themes. They can like buy different themes. So there's different things that they can do. It's a great game. So, oh, by the way, when they're in the store, to get back to the questions, they click on the hamburger. That's kind of what it's called sometimes, and go back to questions, and they can actually see their next question. And they could always go to the shop by also clicking on that up there. So this is a little bit about Gimkit, and the students absolutely love them. Again, we did the one that it's like Among Us, where they have to vote out the imposters, and they ended up voting both of the imposters off and winning the game. So it was a nice review, and they had a lot of fun. So then we moved into math, and in math, I was going over 4 different ways that we divide, and then the students worked on their whiteboards for a problem. So here is my example on the board. So we were going over the area model, the repeated subtraction, division model, quick picture, and regrouping so that they can see how they were all related. Now, how did I get this? I kind of talked about it in the past. This is a graphic, and I did it really quickly on PowerPoint. So this is just a table, a 2x2 table, and I just used my Oswald font up here to quickly go into each cell. I just went center, and then once I click on everything, I can right-click on the table, and I can choose Save as Picture. Once I save it on my computer, then I can go into my flip chart, and I can go into Insert, Media, and from there I can find it, which is right there. I also have one for multiplication, but it looks black for some reason. But yeah, there's the one that I use for division for today, and it's good to have it. And then the students went ahead and watch this math on the spot video. I'm gonna go back a little bit so that you can kind of see the problem that the students were kind of solving. There it is. So that's the one that they were solving, and they needed to look at the 2 pictures and decide which one made sense and which one was nonsense. So the students worked on their whiteboards, and of course I also worked on one on my own, which is right here so that the students can see how we can solve it. And then of course, they watched the remainder of the video to see how it was solved. It was really great, and I know the students need a little bit more practice with division, so we're going to continue doing that tomorrow. But that, in a sense, is what we ended up doing for today. Oh, I forgot. So after that, we went to lunch, and then we ended up doing a lesson on empathy. So today the students were learning about what empathy is one of our first bullying prevention lessons, is one of 5 lessons. This week is lesson 1. So for that, I actually ended up showing the 3 videos that are in Class Dojo, and I also showed the video in Flocabulary about empathy. And then tomorrow, I'm actually going to have the students look at some of the scenarios that are in that Flocabulary video that I really liked, along with another one that's part of the lesson. And then they'll do an exit ticket where they'll do true and false questions related to empathy and what they learned about it. So in Class Dojo, under Big Ideas, if you scroll down, you have all these different video libraries. So empathy is right here. So we went to see these 4 videos, and then we had little discussions about it. And we watched this video on building empathy, which was really cool. And in teacher resources, if you go to handouts, there's this really nice activity that shows different scenarios so that students can go through that particular scenario and answer the questions and see how it relates to empathy. So I thought that was really great, and I'll have my students work on that tomorrow as a continuation. And of course, they do have a quiz and a read and respond that go along with that as well. And this is the actual lesson that they gave us from our district. As you can see, it goes over what the students will need in order to complete the activity. And then it goes over the empathy examples, and the students can choose the most empathetic response as it relates to that scenario. And here is the true and false little exit ticket on empathy. So those are the highlights from today. Tomorrow is another day. We have made it to Thursday. It is now the end of the school day. It has been a really on-the-go day kind of for me, so I didn't feel myself putting the agenda up this morning. I actually got here just in time to get my kids in the room, so didn't get here early enough because I had to run some errands before coming to school. But let me just show you a glimpse of the agenda and give you a few of the highlights from today. I didn't check anything off, so it is what it is right now. But we did do the weekly review this morning, Wednesday and Thursday. We did review the vocabulary workshop unit 2 words, and the students took that vocabulary test. And then we introduced Wonders unit 2 week 5. We tried to do the open it video, but for some reason on Wonders on the digital platform, the video was incorrect. So we just did the study sync, which kind of introduced and gave a little bit of a background for the essential question. And then I did a read aloud called Animal Haiku, where I read 5 different haikus that featured 5 different animals. So we had a discussion about those. We talked about what Japanese haikus are, how the poems are 3 lines. And then we did the shared read, which was 4 different poems. 2 of them were haikus and 2 of them were lyric poems. So as you can tell, this unit is heavy on poetry. So we're going to be going over the elements of poetry and comparing those to plays and prose. In reading, the students worked on reading passages in their library for the software that they work on. We didn't have time for our informative essay. And it's okay because yesterday they spent 2 hours writing, so that's fine. And then in math, we went over division strategies, and I'll show you what we did with that. In the afternoon, they went to lunch, and I wasn't with them because I had to do a training. So I left them some bonus math. I forgot to put that art was in between bonus math and science. And then they ended the day with a natural resources activity. This is a little glimpse of the math problem that we were working on today. This was the same one that we were working on yesterday. I just wanted to fully explain it so that students knew why this was nonsense and why this made sense, and how to also divide using regrouping. Before this, I had erased it every time I showed them, but I showed them all the 4 different strategies. And I make sure that they went over drawing base 10 symbols. So I told them that they could draw a square with a T to represent 1,000, a square to represent 100, a line represents 10, and of course a circle represents units or ones. This is the division practice that I gave them using that same frame that I showed you yesterday. And I just put a different problem in each box so that they can work it out. Some of them are not done, so they'll continue working on that tomorrow. And we'll do our review for chapter 4 as well. So a little bit more practice with division, review for chapter 4, and then hopefully they'll be ready for the chapter test next week. So like I said, this afternoon I went to a training that basically was going over all the upcoming activities and lessons that we'll be doing for ELA. So it's something that I did with another teacher in my team, and now I'm going to share the information with my grade level. So just information about writing and ELL resources and digital resources and reading resources and upcoming assessments and all that. So that is coming. So I took copious notes so that I can go over that. But I've been meaning to empty my car because I got rid of my storage. It was starting to become too expensive. They wanted to increase it to $130 a month. And initially when I got it, it was only $84. So in just 1 year, it increased to that much. And I said, okay, I don't have a lot of stuff in there, so let me start emptying it out. Some of it I left in my house, but I did want to empty out the books because if you recall at the beginning of the school year, I had all these empty bookshelves, which kind of baffled me because my books ended up going all the way to the bottom over here. And I completely forgot that I had taken some books to storage. So now after school, I spent some time and I brought all of these crates full of books. So what I'm going to do right now before I leave is just put these crates in front of the bookshelves here so that I can slowly but surely starting tomorrow start putting them in the shelves. So that's what I'll just do to unload this car and put it back where it is. And then that'll be it for the end of today. It's Friday Eve, it's Thursday, and on my way home, I'm gonna stop by Starbucks and get myself a nice warm tea for my throat. So kind of like been losing my voice, but I'm thinking that I'm experiencing some acid reflux in the evening when I'm sleeping, and that does affect your vocal cords, and maybe that's why I'm hoarse. But I am also trying to remember to use my voice amplifier that I got. So yeah, that is pretty much it. I mean, there's nothing else that I would like to go over right now, so I'll just move us on to Friday. It's Friday and my battery is about to die on my camera, so I don't know how long I have, but today was a really wacky day. I'll show you what my plan was. This was the agenda for today. But we had to move a couple of things over, and one of the biggest things that I did today was update our reward wheel, and the students got to spin it. So here are the updated rewards. The students had a blast. A lot of them got to spin. Some of them got to spin twice. They spin every time they get a multiple of 50 in dojo points, and they get reward stickers every time they get a multiple of 25. So when they spin the wheel, they also get a sticker. And pretty much everyone got stickers today. And the people that didn't are just a few points away from getting it. So I did replenish as students got stickers. That's basically it for today. But if I forget anything, I'll let you know next week. I hope you enjoyed coming along with me on this week, our first week of the second grading period. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought, any questions you may have. Also, if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing and hitting the bell for notifications so you don't miss any future videos. I hope you have a beautiful, magical day, and don't forget to smile. Hello dreamers, wishers, and magical thinkers. Thank you so much for making it to the very end of this video and for showing your support. If you'd like to subscribe, you can do so by clicking on my picture down here. You can also check out my latest videos here and here. Don't forget to believe in the magic that's inside you because you are capable of great things. See you next time.